and they know the rads are 300, 400 rim between the buildings. They're talking about lethal doses. Nobody wants to go up those pipes up.
Yeah. So I stopped the recorder and then I just started again because I thought that was a good place to start it. But that seems like that would be a good plan as far as liability. Maybe would be to, have helicopters, and then the way they bring buckets of water in for forest fires, maybe dump concrete on it. But I think concrete starts to turn into like a sea sponge when it gets a certain amount of radiation, and they're already talking about they have to rebuild the sarcophagus for Chernobyl.
I'm told in Chernobyl they dug up underneath and they laid some kind of sand and something special foundation beneath the reactor and the meltdown and whatever it was as far as the fuel, how much melt. I don't know a whole lot about Chernobyl as far as the thorium melt through, but they made it underneath. They prepped the foundation and then they came in and did lead on top. And that, again, I would be listening. I would go over and be real nice to Putin right now. Take him out hunting.
Absolutely.
I'll have vodka with him. I say, what can you help us out by? Because we're getting, Again, but I'm convinced it's a military strike, because Japan's making plutonium. We know that from a National Security News Service article where we find out Poppy Bush let the Japanese weapons guys into labs over here, and then over there, we suspect Fukashima, they're producing weapons-grade plutonium. Plus, that Japan was considering enriching uranium for Iran, and that was a story there. So any number of people might have reason to try some military strike on it. It's the perfect thing to strike with a nuclear reactor is that they limit to the payload capacity of this non-stop nuclear bomb that goes off every day, man, for 800 something. That was just steam. In fact, someone said they debunked the mystery steam from Unit 3 the other day. It's not even steam, it's like smoke and stuff still come out. They know when it's smoke that MOX is aerosolized form. I read about this. When it burns, it's the worst for the MOX because it goes into aerosolized form. And yes, it's straight aloft way up in the air currents. Don't let them fool you about plutonium that it's so heavy it falls to the ground.
There's certain processes where it can be dustified more than it would naturally be, like when it's aerosolized and depleted munitions, and then it can be breathed in and then easily dispersed into the bloodstream, where it causes people to have all kinds of problems like lymphomas and stuff.
Well, this is just the most major catastrophe and then the major crime to follow by hiding the flame fallout. And then, another crime is exposing. You see all these people won't talk about the cover-up to help us shut down nuclear power, to arrest all these agencies involved. FEMA's useless, DHS, they just let us get bombarded. It proves and shows so much. For me, it's like the singular silver bullet. I can use this as a tool to show people and instruct people and enlighten people. Say, look. You can deny it and go on your own way if you want, but it'd be better to join us and help us get the word out. There's a solution to all this stuff. People don't want to get involved. There's no way, there's no solution. Bullshit. Be positive. If you can screw it up, we can fix it up. That's my opinion.
It's really a testament to humanity and maybe God with all the screw-ups we've done. Well, I've got my fair share of screw-ups that I'm always trying to fix in my own family, dating back, several generations. And it's really a testament to how incompetent the government is, that we really haven't had more serious problems in the last century,
It's all coming to a head now, though. Just look at the rampant, unchecked technological growth. You don't know what these guys are doing in bunkers. You don't know what the military industrial, these, corporate groups of scientists, what's the Hadron Accelerator, what's it called over there?
Super Collider.
Super Collider, yeah.
In France or whatever.
They're not even asking themselves, should we do it? Is this dangerous? Should we do it? They say, can we do it? Can we do it? And let's just try and do it. That's the most craziest way to approach it.
It really doesn't make sense to me if you're doing something in a small scale and then you want to do it 10 or 50 times bigger. Why? You've already done it on a small scale, yet you've already got satisfactory results, and yet they want to build bigger. It's like the
problem's inside the mind of man. He's aggressive, acquisitive, he's brutal, is competitive, all these things. Man, I agree with you to some extent. Like Krishnamurti says, if man kind of mastered the exterior world to some extent, he reached the moon, allegedly. He launched a space shuttle. We have these stealth bombers. We have, we've done fairly well discovering some science and having a few technological inventions. But in the mind of man, we still have yet to work out. China's after us, we're after China. They all have a secret conspiracy against the little guy, but they're all fighting against each other. Nobody gets along. People are stealing from each other, and it's just, so in the mind of man, we got to work it out inside of ourselves.
It's also a testament to all the different psychological facets of humanity you have in there. The people who are trying to make the world a better place, and the people that are always, if I can't play the game I want to play it, I'm going to take my ball and go home.
It's a perfect game scenario for human beings to discover who you are. Like I said, for a long time I was a misfit. That wasn't me. That was the social engineering and programming and television, the schools I went to, and all that stuff influenced me. The music I listened to be that person. And later, when I, fought my way out of it and realized I had been programmed and engineered by actual social engineers, that's their jobs. And the athletic or sports stars of Russia would determine what the games they were going to play and everything. Yeah. And once you figure that out, you can begin to self-correct and reprogram. And that's what everyone needs to do. They're just creating more people that are not right people. There's more quantity than quality right now. I'd rather see money going to try to, across the board, give everyone some kind of, I don't know how to do it, but an education as opposed to the indoctrination in schools. Like, as I know in high school, they're leaving a whole lot out. These kids are leaving high school and they're lacking in it. They don't know about nuclear power when they leave high school. They don't know much about the IRS, but to sign that check over to them. They're lucky if they know the three branches of government.
Yeah, I mean, that all started after the Civil War where, society, I guess, felt some responsibility or maybe a drive to continue the diseducation of a certain portion of the public. And we see it today where, a portion of society gets a better education than the rest of society, and the people that aren't getting a proper education, they want to figure out how to get their kids out of their neighborhood and into a school where their kids are properly educated. And you would think that a community that's educating their kids, they would be striving to figure out how to do it. But in a lot of cases, it's almost like they're striving to keep the system going the way it is.
That's it. Perpetuate a chaotic system, because a chaotic system needs repair, constant repair. You never repair enough to fix it permanently, but to keep it in a perpetual state of disrepair, thus forever needing repair, and the situation goes on and on and on. That's what I'm saying. I kind of look for solutions. I mean, tell me, what is wrong with a boycott of aluminum to stop chemicals? I made the connection. Alcoa, Nazi Germany, Operation Save That. I made all the things. I'm like, aluminum boycott, that's it.
Well, the problem is there's such a large portion of it. Like, we lost so much of our infrastructure. A lot of aluminum is used now to make engines, and then the sleeves are simply made out of iron. And the engines in the cars aren't lasting as long. But that's a significant portion of the industry just going to make engines.
Well, and the question you have to ask yourself is, would I rather walk or take the bus or buy a Geo Metro with aluminum one-shot throwaway engine? I know those engines. They even made for the Metro an engine. It was aluminum. It was compressed with tiny beads. This is a Geo Metro, a 1.0 liter. And it was only good for one shot. When your piston rings wore out, they couldn't bore the cylinder. It was a throwaway motor. But the block was aluminum, the head was aluminum too. So again, I would look at people and say, I agree with you. And then maybe a lot does go into manufacturing and some goes into drinks and bicycles, what have you. But you will eventually ask yourself, do you want to drive that car, or do you want to walk and catch a bus and try to stop chemicals? Because you ain't going to vote our way out.
Hey.
I have thought, and there's no other. I'm open to any more rational solution that might be more effective.
Listen, I drive a 2-liter car with a 2-liter engine, but I'm telling you right now, Susie Soccer Mom is not going to be happy if you tell her that she can't have her 6.2-liter Hemi engine.
Okay, but Susie Soccer Mom doesn't believe in chemtrails anyway. I'm only asking
Nah.
the chemtrail activists and people who are aware of chemtrails, which if you go to YouTube and look around the alternative media, Facebook, oh crikey, there's 1 million plus people in America that know about chemtrails. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, that's like
Okay, now if half of those people you can convince to quit buying aluminum, how much is that? Is that enough to prompt them? Is that enough to get any acknowledgement and notice from anyone?
well, no.
My opinion is yes, it is.
Well, what I was going to say is that would be like trying to reduce the consumption of oil in this country by a small factor of like maybe 2 or 3%, like the CIA openly admits, would drive down our consumption to the point where it would make fuel more affordable.
Well, I wouldn't attempt to reduce oil consumption. I would produce an alternative. I'd say, look, water's really all over the place. Hell, they can make it rain for days in one spot with their satellite technology. We've pretty much proven that. Water on the coast, I could have a dehumidifier bring me a couple gallons, maybe a gallon two in an hour. I can split that gallon, the hydrogen off the oxygen. If you hit enough volts to it through the electrical current, you take that hydrogen on your generator. Part of your generator's electricity runs your dehumidifier, which is producing your fuel right out of the air. It's just like Luke Skywalker's dad. Remember, he's producing their water from the dehumidifiers on the planet Van or whatever it is. Same concept. I mean, there's so many alternatives. Yet the fact is there's many thousands of patents that for many years have been seized in. They intimidate you. They simply, a bank won't fund you. There's alternatives to nuclear, alternatives to coal, alternatives to even solar that we don't know. And let me just say this, there's an X factor. There's stuff they're hiding unknown. There's stuff we don't know that we don't know about. So if you just release the hidden technologies where they're not so hidden anymore, and Stan Meyer's water card, everybody in the alternative media knows about that. You know, I would just offer replacement. We cannot do that, though, when the control sector is not going to allow it. Again, like you said, they're perpetuating this chaotic, expensive state of existence, and it's very profitable to the few, but to the many, it's a great drag on the bulk of society. We're not able, the human race as a species is not advancing. Maybe the small 1% are. And maybe they break away one day and fly off in outer space. They're so advanced, they're like cyborg, supermans or something, right? If it goes on long enough, what's the guy that writes that one book says it'll be a breakaway society. Right, that's what it's going to be. They're going to break away. They'll have chips in their brains, jetpacks built into them and everything. And they'll be like, we'll see you later. We're heading off in outer space. We're leaving in your crummy nuclear wasteland. Bye.